Howdy folks, it's AJ with the Hunting Gear Guy, and this is a WK180. There's something a little bit odd about it. I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, it's got a folding stock. Okay, great. You noticed that there. That's one of True North Arms. They actually sent me this for review. Do you want to say anything else? Barrel's kind of thick looking. Okay. No gas tube, no gas piston in there. That's a little bit odd. Magwell looks about right. But, okay, yeah, we've got Glock mags in this thing, and this is a 9mm WK, so that's a little bit different. You saw that the magazine is empty. I can see that the chamber's empty. Why don't we take a closer look at this thing? All right, at the back of the gun here, we just have standard mil-spec stock, so extending if you want something a little bit longer. Here we've got that folding stock, so I'm going to just push up on it from the back here, compress that guy, and she folds over. Doesn't lock into the folded position, but if you want to just use it for storage, that's fine. Our safety selector is on both sides. Now, one thing I like to do with these is on the off side, I like to adjust it so that it doesn't get down in the way, because I just don't like where that fits on my finger. So I usually opt to flip that thing around on these things. Also on the left-hand side here, you can see our magazine release from the other side. You don't need to use that if you're just filling it with 9mm mags, because you just press that button to pull out your Glock mags. If you want to drop this mechanism out completely, you can just press the magazine release, and you can see that whole mechanism right there. I believe they use these kinds of things for converting ARs to 9mm as well. Now, one of the things you can't see is there's no gas piston or anything in here. There's no gas piston. It's just straight blowback action. So there's no rotating bolt or anything on here. It's just a straight, it's all in one unit. The bolt carrier and bolt, it's all just one dealio. So that's in there, and that's all that's going on. Now, the lip of the magazine adapter also gives us just a little bit of a feed ramp to get those rounds into this 9mm barrel. And incidentally, the bolt hold open, it's still in there. It's just there's nothing for it to grab onto on the 9mm bolt, so can't use it for that. And then finally to the front, we have that 9mm barrel. I guess you could use any forend on this thing, because, I mean, it's just a standard AR barrel nut at the front there. No gas tube to worry about. So yeah, pretty much anything's going to work on this. And then we have a 9mm barrel out the front and a simple flash hider on the front of that. So what's it like shooting the 9mm WK? Well, a couple of interesting things on it. The bolt action on it is very fast. The bolt itself is pretty lightweight. This is what the bolt is like. Now, on your typical blowback 9mm, they use quite a bit of a heavier bolt, but what they opted to use on this one is a buffer. It's quite a large buffer. You can kind of see it in the back there, and it is it's just this big piece of rubber here that they've got, or rubber or silicone or whatever. So that's the bolt's basically just slamming into that at pretty high speeds. So that's considered like a wear part on these things. Eventually, if you run enough rounds, you'll beat that thing up, and you'll need to get a new one. Eventually, at some point. I have no idea how many rounds you'd need to get into one of these. I've got a couple hundred through this one, and I'm not there yet. It still looks fine to me. So what's it like shooting the 9mm WK? Pretty similar to a regular WK180. I mean, you get your aim, the charging handle's on the left-hand side. The bolt does not hold open on an empty mag, or just at all. The mechanism, there's just nothing there for it to grab onto. Every once in a while, I've just got too much muscle memory on AR-style platforms. I would drop the magazine like this when I wanted to reload. So you have to get yourself past that and strip them out like that, using that toggle up at the front to pull them out. So that bit's a little bit different. I would say that the rest of it, though, is pretty much the same. I was actually ringing the gong at 200 with this thing. You get a little bit more velocity with a longer barrel. Not a lot more, but a little bit more. Just the fact that it's a rifle makes it a lot easier as well. So who do I recommend get one of these 9mm WKs? Well, if you already have a WK180, You might be able to just get some of the parts. If you don't have one, they're kind of an interesting 9mm PCC. We've got a couple of different options here in Canada for non-restricted 9mm PCCs. This one is okay for pricing, and it's got a lot of the AR style parts on it that you can switch and swap out. So that's kind of interesting. It's pretty new in terms of when it's come out, and I would, well, I mean, 9mm is cheaper than 223 right now, a lot cheaper. So I guess there's that. It's cheaper to shoot. If you shoot 3-gun or something like that, this is going to be cheaper than your 223. And I mean, if you're already into Glocks, then you'll probably have a bunch of Glock mags, so you could probably share between your pistol and your carbine, which is also kind of interesting. They do have this folding stock here that you can fold with the rifle, which makes it a little bit easier to get into your bags and that kind of thing. Personally, I just run like big 3-gun bags anyways, so that doesn't make much of a difference. But if you needed to fit like a pistol or something like that inside your bag here, this is going to be easier to get that stock out of the way. So all in all, I love seeing new products for the Canadian market. We do need local manufacturers here because we've got really weird laws, and we've got on top of those really weird bad laws, we've got a local police force that can also control the importation of these things, and they make like really weird interpretations of those laws. It's nice to be able to have local manufacturers that make stuff here so that we're not stuck with not being able to import, not being able to get anything, and not having enough options. So I like when we see more options here in Canada. I like that the True North Arms is bringing in these kinds of things for us. Thanks for watching.